If you are a U.S. citizen, a green card holder, or a family member waiting for a visa approval, please take a moment to breathe with me. Just one slow breath, in and out, because I know what brought you here today. You saw the words executive order. You saw the words green card. You saw the word freeze, and something inside you tightened. That is a completely natural response. The headlines right now are loud, they are sharp, and they are written to make you click, not to make you calm. But that is not what we do here. My name is Piper, and my goal today is not to give you more anxiety, but to give you the quiet truth. We are going to separate the rumors from the reality. We are going to look at what this executive order actually says, what it actually does, and most importantly, what it means for you and the people you love. By the time this video ends, my hope is that you feel more grounded than when you press play. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear about one thing. I am your guide, not your lawyer. Everything I share today is for your peace of mind and your education. Explained simply, the way a trusted friend would explain it. Not with legal jargon, not with complicated terminology, just plain, honest language. If your personal situation requires legal advice, please consult a licensed immigration attorney. But for the vast majority of you watching right now, what you need today is not a lawyer. What you need is clarity, and that is exactly what we are going to provide. So, let us talk about what is actually happening. An executive order was signed that has placed what many are calling a freeze on certain green card applications. And when you hear the word freeze, your mind might go to the worst possible place. You might imagine cases being thrown out, families being separated permanently, years of waiting suddenly wiped away. I understand why your mind goes there, but let me slow this down. Let me give you the full picture. First, let us understand what an executive order actually is. An executive order is a directive from the president. It instructs the government on how to carry out existing law. It is powerful, yes, but it is not the final word. It is not above the law. And here is the part the headlines often leave out. Executive orders can be challenged. They are challenged regularly. And when they are challenged in federal court, the courts have the authority to pause them, review them, and in some cases block them entirely. That is exactly what is happening right now. A federal district court, in this case based in New York, has stepped in and done what the American legal system was designed to do. It asked the government to slow down, to show its work, to demonstrate that this order was carried out lawfully and fairly. Think of it like this. Imagine a teacher giving an exam. The executive order is the student turning in the paper. And the court is the teacher saying, "Wait, let me look at this more carefully before I accept it." That is not chaos. That is accountability. That is the system doing exactly what it is supposed to do. The court is essentially asking the government to double-check its homework. And while that review is happening, certain applications may experience a pause. Not a cancellation, not a denial, a pause. Now, let us talk about who this actually affects. Because this is where the headlines get blurry and the fear gets louder than the facts. In the vast majority of cases, if you are a current lawful permanent resident, meaning you already hold a valid green card, this order does not change your status. Your green card is a legal document. It was issued under law. It represents a decision that was already made about your case. An executive order does not reach backward and undo decisions that were already completed lawfully. Your card is yours. You can rest easy because the court has already recognized the potential overreach here and has stepped in to provide a layer of protection for those with pending cases. The legal community is watching this closely. Advocacy organizations are engaged, and the judicial process is active and functioning. Let me also say this clearly for our naturalized citizens watching today. If you have already taken the oath of allegiance, if you already hold a United States passport, Your citizenship is not affected by this order. Naturalized citizenship, once granted, carries the full protections of the Constitution. No executive order changes that. Your foundation is solid. Now I want to draw a distinction that I think is incredibly important, and I want you to hold on to this because it matters. There is a difference between a policy pause and a law change. A policy pause means something is being held, reviewed, or temporarily slowed. It is like a red light. It does not mean the road is closed. It means traffic is being managed. A law change, on the other hand, goes through Congress. It requires debate, votes, approval, and a long process. What we are seeing right now is a policy pause, not a law change. The underlying immigration law, the framework that governs family petitions, green card categories, and visa approvals, that has not changed. The United States immigration system is like a very large ship. It does not turn on a dime. It does not reverse suddenly. It moves slowly, deliberately, and it operates on evidence, not emotion, not headlines, not political noise. Evidence, procedure, structure. And right now, that ship is navigating through choppy water, yes, but the hull is intact, the navigation system is working, and the destination has not changed. This brings me to something I hear often in the comments, and I want to address it directly, especially for those of you who are in your 60s and 70s, who may be waiting on a family petition, who filed years ago and are still watching and waiting and wondering. The law is on your side. I want you to hear that clearly. The law is on your side. The petition you submitted, the documents you gathered, the evidence of your relationship, your financial support, your years of lawful residency in this country, those things are recorded. They exist in the system. A policy pause does not erase them. Time is a factor. Yes, the wait is real, and I will not pretend otherwise. But the structure remains. The preference categories remain. The per-country limits remain. The process remains. And your place in that process remains. If you are a senior who filed a family petition for a child or a spouse, I want you to know that family-based immigration has been one of the most protected pillars of American immigration law for decades. It has survived multiple administrations. It has survived policy shifts, budget battles, and legal challenges. The strength of the system is precisely this. It is built to endure. Now let us talk about something that causes a great deal of quiet anxiety. The silence. You filed your application. You sent your documents. You paid your fees. And then nothing. Weeks passed. Months passed. Maybe longer. The mailbox is empty. The USCIS portal has not changed. And you sit there wondering, did they receive it? Did something go wrong? Does anyone even know my name is in that pile? Here is what I need you to understand. No news is often just processing news. USCIS processes millions of applications every year. Millions. And while courts are issuing rulings, while executive orders are being reviewed, while advocates are sending letters and filing briefs, the processing staff is still doing their jobs. Files are still being reviewed. Cases are still moving, even if the movement is invisible from where you are standing. The absence of a letter does not mean the absence of progress. The silence is not a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes the system moves faster than the notification does. Sometimes the mail is simply slow. And that is okay. That is normal. If you want to check on your case, please use the official USCIS case status tool online. It is free. It is available to everyone. If your case has been pending beyond the published processing time on the USCIS website, you have the right to submit a case inquiry. You do not need to hire anyone to do that for you. It is a simple, official process. And if you have an attorney, now is a reasonable time to send a quick note and ask for a status update. Not because something is wrong, but because staying informed is always better than worrying alone in the quiet. I want to pause here for a moment, because behind every application number, behind every receipt notice, behind every case file sitting in a building somewhere, there is a person. There is a family. There is someone who left everything they knew, who built a new life with everything they had, who filed every form correctly and waited patiently and kept believing. And now they are watching videos like this one, in the early morning or late at night, hoping someone will tell them it is going to be okay. So let me tell you, I know you are counting the days. I know the empty mailbox feels heavy. I know that some mornings you wake up and the first thought in your mind is the case, the status, the weight. And I want you to know that weight is real and it is valid, and you do not have to carry it alone. You are part of a community of millions of people who understand exactly what that feeling is. You are seen. You are not forgotten. And you are not invisible to the system, even when the system feels invisible to you. You have already done the hardest part. You showed up. You filed. You stayed. Now let me bring this home clearly and simply. Here is what is actually happening. An executive order created a pause on certain green card application categories. A federal court stepped in and is reviewing whether that order was carried out lawfully. That review is ongoing. That is the system working as designed. Here is who it affects. Primarily those with pending applications in specific categories that fall under the scope of the order. Not current lawful permanent residents, not naturalized citizens, not people whose cases were already approved and completed. Here is what you should do. Check your case status through the official uscis website. Speak with a licensed immigration attorney if your situation is complex or if you have a pending case that falls into an affected category. Do not make decisions based on fear or headlines alone, and please, do not pay anyone to give you information that is available to you for free through official government channels. Here is what you should remember. The law is on your side. Time is a factor, but the structure remains. Delays are a normal part of this process. Denials are far less common than delays. And the American immigration system, for all its slowness and imperfection, is built to endure. The ship is still sailing. You are still on board, and the destination has not changed. If this brought you a bit of peace today, let me know in the comments. I read them all, every single one. Tell me where you are in your journey. Tell me what you are waiting on. Tell me what questions you still have. You are not just a viewer here. You are part of this community. Stay informed, stay calm, and I will see you in the next update.